Good evening. Welcome to MSNBC's America in Crisis special coverage on this election eve here live in New York. I'm Michael Smith. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We appreciate your viewership as America is currently in crisis. Right now, we're doing this dual coverage on this election eve to bring you the latest news regarding the crisis currently in LA with the current crime wave hitting the city at this hour. We're going to be breaking that down as well with our panel here tonight. My co-host tonight, Parker Jackson of the Parker Jackson Show. We're going to be doing a combined show tonight on this election eve. That is one of our top stories, as well as, again, it's election eve. We're going to be talking about some polls, some final polls showing our man Foley in the lead over many other candidates. Also, the Akon crime family, what they're doing in AR, what they're doing in LA to continue this crime crisis, and they want you to elect him as president of the United States of America, which I hope does not happen. So we're going to be breaking all that down tonight as well on this special coverage on America in Crisis. Welcome to this. I'm Michael Smith, joined by Parker Jackson and Liam McDonald, or William P. Nixon, of the Our Man Foley campaign and NBC News contributor. All right, so I want to continue on this coverage here. Again, as a crime wave continues to hit LA, people are being imprisoned right now. We have some news from on the ground right now, but we don't have as much as we probably need. But the crime crisis is continuing, folks. As the Akon Bacon Hair Gang is nothing but peaceful. Now, Parker, you went undercover. I wouldn't say undercover, but you went to get more information about the Bacon Hair Gang. Now, for our viewers that are just joining us, and I know you did some great work there, tell us about them, and they're nothing but peaceful.
Yeah, that's correct, Michael. Yesterday on my show, we did in-depth reporting on the Bacon Hair organization, or gang, really. They claim to be peaceful and they claim to be oppressed, but really there's no evidence showing that they're oppressed at all. The only thing that the evidence points to is that they're actually committing the most crime within our newly released city of Los Angeles. I mean, I went into their Discord server and I got screenshots of everything for my report. They're sending out messages showing them robbing banks and stating that in the description they're stating teaching bacon hairs how to make money in Los Angeles. I mean, tell me that that is peaceful. Somebody please get on here and argue with me that that is peaceful,
Right,
because
that
that
is
is
not.
nothing.
Not at
That
all.
is not peaceful. Also, there's screenshots of their
I
them
want to
running
see if
around.
our control room can actually put that on the screen for our viewers. Let's see if I can find that. Can we put that up on the screen here? Yeah. You can see on your screen, you can see the photos. It says teaching them how to earn money by robbing banks. You can see that they're trying to capture the turf. They're shooting at just people that are just trying to enjoy themselves. People are innocent civilians. It's horrible. Go ahead, Parker. Sorry.
Oh, so what did you say?
Yeah, it's horrible what they're doing.
It is absolutely terrible, and I mean, I think this is a full circle moment for a lot of us noticing it, because really, a con artist has blamed all of his crimes that he's committed on the Bacon Hair organization, this quote-unquote oppressed, peaceful organization, when there is no evidence pointing to that they're oppressed, or even that there is that many bacon hairs within Los Angeles. So I think what's actually happening here is presidential candidate, remember this is a presidential candidate who's been arrested multiple times in the past few days, is blaming his crime on this quote-unquote oppressed bacon hair minority.
Right,
But I
exactly.
think he's just doing it so he can commit more crime and using the Bacon Hair organization as a front for it.
As a type of excuse. Absolutely agreed. Okay, so now I want to talk about this crime wave because do you think this will have an effect on the election? Because we've talked about this before. I think that this is going to have an effect on the election because of the fact that it's been a big issue. It's dominated the news. We talked about this in the debate last night. I'm sure many of you all watched your show afterwards. It was covered in the VP debates last night. And the fact that Akon couldn't send anybody was just absolutely horrible. But we'll get into that in a second. It was covered a lot. They both recognized it. It was a problem, and we have to do something about it. Do you think this will have a big impact on the elections?
I mean, I think it already has. You've seen, ever since Akon artist started committing crime within Los Angeles, his poll numbers have dropped steadily now. I mean, it was no there. His first off, his poll numbers were never close enough to Armand Foley's, and tonight he still is like in third place when it comes to polls as of now. But I think that by him getting exposed for all these crimes, it just shows how childish of a person he is, and how he hopefully will never be our leader.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about these poll numbers because poll numbers have just been released right now, and this is something that we've got to look at because new poll numbers have been released for the election in just a few hours. Actually, voting will begin in just a few hours. I want to note that. So let's go ahead and get started here with these numbers. Can we put that up on the screen for our viewers? Now, this is for the last pre-election poll. Now, this is conducted actually by the group administration, by group oversight. They did a final poll before shops close. Everyone's going to get to voting, and that's what is going to be. Okay, so you can see it right here. We're putting it up on your screen. You can see it on your screen right there. Okay, so you see it. From the four major candidates, who do you support? Bayan Filipino not doing very well with only 13 votes, but Armand Foley with a over 50% lead, just doing amazing. And second to him is a con artist, and actually no, second to him actually is Technozo, which we actually have in the studio right now talking to us today, which is not a surprise. I mean, Technozo is a very notable figure in Noosa politics. Centaur Exelis with the final, in actually last place with 6. And you can see third is actually a con artist. So a con artist not doing as well as he probably should. And I think you're probably right. I think it already has had an effect on the election, Parker. So I think you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, indeed, Michael. And you look at these poll numbers. I mean, Armand Foley's been in the lead for this entire race, but Technozo, I mean, he was not registered a week ago. It was just Armand, Akon, and Bayan, and yet he is already in second place. It's a very impressive thing to look at. As I mean, as we saw, Akon has been campaigning. He has been campaigning his butt off in political ad channels, hosting rallies, and Technozo comes in and basically swipes the votes. I mean, it's very impressive to see. And then, of course, Centaur Exelis, which is basically basically the joke of the election, honestly, at this point, with 6 votes. Yeah, if you vote for Centaur, then I don't know what's wrong with you.
I know it's really bad. Okay, so we can look at these numbers and see. Like I said, Centaur not doing very well in this race. It's not very good. Now there are some more poll numbers that actually came out about the approval ratings of the president and his job as president. Let's look at this. Now it says, do you approve of the president's job as the president? It's a tie right now. But I'm sure that'll be broken very soon. And then it says, do you approve of Armand Foley's job as Speaker of the House? An overwhelming 9 votes to 3, which is not a surprise, I'm probably going to say, Parker, as you know. And do you approve of a con artist's job as President Pro Tempore? A lot of people said no, but it's only no to 2 votes. So it's kind of close. But like I said, we'll see about that. What are your thoughts about that, Parker? These numbers, do you think they'll have a good indication of the vote tomorrow? Which I think they will, as most polls definitely give us good insight on what to expect.
You know, Armand Foley has done every single poll we have looked at. I mean, the election polls going back from 2 weeks ago from now, he is still leading by with a major majority. And then again, you look at these new polls tonight coming in. I mean, polls don't lie. In the polls are showing that the public is in majorly favors Armand Foley's job. They approve of what he's doing as Speaker of the House. They approve of him being president. And you look at Bayan Filipino, he has tied votes right now as our current president, which again is not that
Yeah.
not too good. And then you
Not
look
at
at
all.
a con artist who has the majority of his votes cast,
Yeah.
6 of 4 of disapproving. And I think why people disapprove of him is because he's one of the major people that commit crime within Los
He's
Angeles.
committing crimes. Right. So join me now, MSNBC contributor and correspondent at large William P. Nixon. William, how are you on this wonderful Thursday evening? I wish it was Friday. Okay, I think William is having some technical difficulties. But let's continue on here with what we're talking about. So we're talking about these poll numbers, and we're going to continue talking about the election coming up as well. Okay. All right. William, can you hear us? Okay, he's trying to reconnect and get his things together. Okay. All right. So let's continue about these polls here because they're very interesting. So I think these polls are definitely going to tell us who is going to win tomorrow because I think that our man Foley, in my opinion, probably have the best shot of winning the election. If Bayahan Filipino was reelected, I would not be surprised, but I would be very shocked, to say the least, that he would be reelected. So that's very, very something. Okay, so coming up...
I have to agree with you on that, Michael.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, William's back. William, how are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, Michael. How about yourself?
I'm good. I told you I wish it was Friday, but it's Thursday anyways.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about these poll numbers now. Our man Foley is dominated almost every poll we have conducted, with Technozo sliding in second place out of nowhere. I didn't even see that. We're going to talk to him tonight about his shocking move to the presidency. What are your thoughts about that, William? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I got a laugh out of it. How Technozo's now ahead of Bayan and Akon. I had to vote for him myself just for the memes too. But yeah, it is pretty funny.
Absolutely, and I mean it brings me back to Newsday because I believe this is before I actually left the community, and I know Parker, you should know this as well. Before we really left Newsday, Technozo was the president, right? You remember that, Parker? He was president.
Yeah, indeed.
And he did a pretty good job. I think he tried to unify Noosa and try to bring in a new dawn with Noosa, which I think he did a great job of doing with the resources that he had. Because he really was just handed a really bad job, in my opinion, right? I think he was just handed out a really bad and just tired and weak government that we really couldn't do much with. But now we're here, and now we're doing something different. So, William, your thoughts about our man Foley just dominating every poll? Because I think that's going to be a good indication of what to expect on election night tomorrow.
Well, Michael, I think over the past few weeks, the people, they've made up their mind. There's not too many people right about now who still haven't decided who they're going to cast their ballot for president for, and that's about it, Michael.
Definitely agree with what you're saying there. Absolutely. So like I said, we have new poll numbers. They've been released. They're out. And people are actively voting right now, actually, about our man Foley's job and Akon artist's jobs. But it's not good for Akon's image is really just in the toilet, if I do say so myself. I mean, he's been arrested. He keeps trying to frame the current president. I'll put this up on your screen here. He keeps trying to frame the current president because he thinks that he's being framed by this current presidency. You see, he was in jail. He's trying to defend the Russian government that is spreading Russian propaganda. I mean, makes you wonder, is Akon Arts in charge of the current Russian propaganda, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it sounds like he's like a Russian spy himself.
Yeah. Well, he did do that Twitter post where he said he arrested a Russian spy. So that might be some deflection right there, Michael. We might have to look into that.
Is he a Russian spy? When he tried to sue MSNBC, he needed to be sued for being a Russian informant. That's what I think he is. Just some type of idiot that's trying to be a Russian informant, which is crazy. And you can see he was arrested just yesterday for crimes. I guess to me, he's using this Bacon Lives Matter to try to front for his crimes. Your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It seems like it's the Teamsters Union back in the '90s with this Bacon Hair Foundation. The cherry on top for me, Michael, really is I joined Los Angeles last night and I saw Bernard arresting Akon, and that I had a good laugh. I did.
All right, so if you have a prediction, William, who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
Well, I'd probably have to say Armin, but you don't have to take my word for it. I'd wait and see.
Yep, you really gotta wait and see because it's really anybody's game. It really is. It's really anybody's game. I mean, as A. Conrad continues to commit these crimes, I don't see how he's gonna win. I mean, it's making his campaign look just
I
terrible.
can't see how he hasn't been
I
disqualified
haven't
already,
either. I mean,
Michael.
he has been basically he's been taken into FBI custody. I mean, this is the only presidential candidate I've seen that's been taken into FBI custody. Parker, what are your thoughts about that? I mean, he was arrested by the FBI.
I mean, if Aconers wins, our country is going down the hole, and this is a brand new community, and I think that if we have him as our leader, we do not stand a
Hell
chance
in a
for lasting
handbasket.
at all.
Hell
Because
in a
at
handbasket,
this
right?
point, he is a criminal, a convicted criminal. Well, I wouldn't say convicted yet, but he will be
He
convicted
will be
soon.
convicted very soon. If, matter of fact, if he does not win, he's getting convicted. I know that. Like, if he does not win, he's gonna get convicted. I'm sure.
And I just think that this bacon hair front, quote unquote bacon hairs, are being oppressed. I don't know if that's fully true. First of all, I went into the Los Angeles game many times before. There's only been about two bacon hairs with him the entire time, so I don't know what type of majority bacon hairs are being oppressed. Who
I
knows? This
don't
could
either.
be
I
two
don't
of
either. I
his
don't see it.
friends. This could be two of his friends dressed up on an alt account as a bacon hair coming into the game and causing havoc. So who knows about that? But I mean, I just think that if he wins, our country is going downhill.
you
Absolutely.
you
His news
watch a bunch
organization has
of
caused hell
bunch
in a
of
handbasket for the White House, for the press organization. It's been absolutely terrible.
yeah, you watch Michael Parker. Um, you watch a bunch of alts will vote for him, and he'll sit there when their
That's
votes
true.
are
That's true. And you gotta
thrown
understand
out.
what
He'll
kind
sit
of
there
guy
and say,
Akon is. He could
"Let's get
have
more
bots to basically
president."
bot the election. That's very true.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, guys, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, do you guys think that this guy would actually bot the election in his favor? Which
It would not shock me. It
it
would not
wouldn't
shock
shock
me
me.
at
I
all.
mean, this stuff happened in Noosa. I mean, this would not shock me. I mean, this guy could get alts and bot the election. I mean, I think if he wins, the election was botted. That's just my opinion. If he wins, the election was botted.
Well,
What
I don't think
a
there's a
go
chance
ahead.
that he'll win.
I mean, the chances are very, very low, and I think I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so joining us when we come back from break to complete this four-person panel is going to be presidential candidate Technozo to be talking about his quick rise to fame on election eve. Very, very quickly here. I mean, could this guy get to the White House? Again, wouldn't be a bad president. I'm just saying, his rise to fame was very, very quick. We're going to be talking to him about that and more coming up. Don't miss it. We'll be right back. And good evening. Welcome back to this breaking news report here, this special breaking coverage of Election Eve in America and our continuing coverage of the crime crisis in LA as we get more and more news on that as the news goes on, the day goes on. I'm Michael Smith. Continue with my co-host, Parker Jackson. Parker, how you feeling tonight? Parker. Okay, I guess Parker is doing something right now. Okay, all right. So either way, we're going to continue with this. So join me now, live from the ashes. It seems like is Technozo, really a notorious figure in Ro Nations, as somebody can say about myself. So Technozo, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and I'm really excited for our conversation today.
Good. Okay, so Tech, you have a real chance of winning. I'm not gonna say you don't. You have a strong following, especially with the former Noosa people like myself, Parker, and William. These are the key voters you gotta target here. I'm sure you have a good strategy. And as I was saying, we remember you as the guy that took the reins from a chaotic time in Noosa, right? You were a post Yada, post gang, post just really in a Ridgeway kind of Noosa, if you get what I'm saying, right? Just kind of a guy trying to steer the ship.
Ridgeway, yes.
Right.
I did take over after bad times. Something I will say though, that I left Noosa in a really better place. We always come into this world, not just in Roblox but in real life, and we always ask ourselves, hey, how can we leave this place in a better place than we found it? And in Noosa, the voters really approved of good governance, and that's exactly what I brought to Noosa. And I think voters will really be attracted to that for the weekend. And we really proved really good results. We were very respected in the United Nations, even though a lot of people hated me and my very unique approach to foreign affairs. But the voters overwhelmingly, I just read an article today, I was approved 91% by the voters when it came to the issues of foreign relations and overall approval. So, I'm really excited, and I'm glad that a lot of the Noosa base has joined us here. And I think those are the people who are going to be coming out and voting for Technozo this weekend.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. And you're leading second in polls right now, actually, with just dominating Akon and other candidates that have been in the lead for quite a while now. And that is really good for your campaign. Now, what is your strategy? Because, like I said, you got a base. Target. How are we going to get that?
Yeah, so it's really important that you mention, this campaign has not even been around for a week. And I want that to really sit in with your viewers for a second. We've not been around for a week, and yet we are beating the incumbent president and the head of the Bacon Lives Matter campaign. And yet these people think that I should just merge with them and not even be vice president. I disagree with that. I have a lot of name recognition. I have very much respect in the community. Even the people who are supporting Armand over me, they don't say anything bad about me as a person, as a president. But overall, look, we have a really good strategy. The fact that we're already beating the incumbent president is really key. Our strategy is really going to focus on tomorrow's debate, and I think we can really reach out to those voters who are really on the fence in the debate. I think that Armand really has a lot to answer for. As Speaker of the House, did you know that he only hosted 2 House sessions as Speaker?
Yeah, I did not even know that. Yeah.
So it's just like how can voters be approving of somebody who is going to lead this new, very active, vibrant, dynamic base, and he hasn't even done his job that he was elected to do, and he swore an oath. And he really has
he's
not
only had
done
quorum
much
to
to
hold
deliver.
sessions
Actually, I'm talking. I'm finishing up. I'm
Okay,
finishing
let
up.
him finish. But I mean, I didn't even know that. Not at all. But continue. Let continue.
I'm finishing up, right? Okay, so look, the voters are really asking themselves this. A lot of voters have come to me personally, have really expressed concerns about the inactivity of Congress. They understand that the incumbent president is really not capable, and quite honestly is really an embarrassment. Honestly, this is the biggest embarrassment we've seen from an incumbent president running in a presidential election since Theodore Roosevelt ran on the Bull Moose Party. But I mean, look, everybody knows the incumbent is not qualified, but they're worried that the person who is the heir apparent is who's running, who has the presumptive lead, although that's going to really change in the next day or two. Um, they're really worried about this, honestly, and I'm here to offer that alternative to voters. And like I said, not many people from Noosa can really say any bad things about me. I really want to see this constructive criticism about my presidency, but I have not found this constructive criticism at all. And quite honestly, I think it's really going to propel me into winning this weekend's elections, honestly, and winning tomorrow's debate. I'm going to smash that debate. There's no chance of any candidate. I don't care who they are. They're not going to win against.
Absolutely, and I hope to see that. And that debate will be hosted by NBC News once again, as we host the VP debate. Your thoughts about that? That VP debate last night. Between really the only two candidates last night, which was kind of sad because we want everyone's VP to be a part, but not everyone was available for representation. So, what are your thoughts on that debate last night? And about that.
So let me bring up some specifics here. Actually, there were no specifics last night. There were no actual solutions brought up last night. And this is really the problem, honestly. We're not hearing specific solutions. Now, look, Liam's on this call. I have immense respect for Liam. I don't really have anything bad to say about me. He said some bad things about me, but I don't really care. I really do respect the guy. He was really big in the Senate, honestly. The problem I'm really seeing is just like, we're not really seeing a lot of specifics on how we're going to fix the country and how we're going to get a big active base, honestly. Now, look, I brought solutions, right? We have to really sponsor the games that we have. We have to, a lot of people are really talking about crime and stuff. That stuff matters. And, quite frankly, I would go after the Bacon Lives Matter movement. There's really no place for that in America.
It's not.
No, there's no place for that, honestly.
But honestly, when you do this, I think it brings you back to that kind of toxic Noosa culture, in my opinion. What are your thoughts about that? In my opinion.
Yeah, of course. It is toxic, honestly. I mean, speaking of these people, they think they're on top of the world,
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I spoke with Akon today, and I was trying to get a merge with this guy, and this guy was like, okay, you know what? Let's do it, right? So he brought in his guys in a room, and he thinks he's so qualified. He's like, oh, you can't. He told me, my name is Technozo. He said, you should bring up, he said I should build my name recognition as an American citizen. He didn't even offer me
your name recognition. Is this guy slow or is he on crack? I mean, what is this guy talking about?
First of all, why would you want to merge with Akon?
Exactly. That is a good question. Well, Akon trying to merge with Technozo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's just an embarrassment. It's like an embarrassment. But look, that's why. I mean, look, let's be real here, right? Even if Akon has bots, he's not going to win.
Right. He's not. I mean, right? and that's a concern that I had going into this election is that I think that it's a serious reality that Akon could bot the election to give him more votes than he would actually get.
Yeah, exactly, right? Really, look, I mean, look, I respect everybody. I don't use ad hominem attacks on people. I do not go personal, and that's why people really have a cult of admiring me and respecting me as a person. But look, we're a new nation, right? We do have a significant Noosa base. There's no question about that. But we have to really grow this base. Really grow it up quickly. Now, yes, we're ahead of Noosa by far. I mean, Paul has really destroyed Noosa because he's a moron. But our goal should not be to,
absolutely.
Our goal should really not be to emulate Noosa. We have to think of things beyond Noosa, right? The conversations that I have with people when it comes to
a point, and this is something that people, I'm going to interrupt you, that people have to realize, that you have to realize to a point, is that some of your critics say that you are an emulation of this. You are trying, this is, with you coming, it's Noosa 2.0. It's you trying to bring back Noosa politics about that. What do you have to say about that? Because that is something circling around.
Well, I mean, like I said, nobody had anything constructive to say against me as a president. So, I mean, if I bring back my Noosa way of governance, I guess that's a good thing, right? Like I said, 91% of voters approved of my job on foreign relations, and my approval rating was in the office. Not many scandals happened under my watch, and that's because I was a good, respectable figure who answered everybody's questions. I'm heavily involved in politics in real life. I'm very respectful of people. My best friends, hey, look, I'm a Democrat. My best friends are Trump
Yeah.
supporters, right?
Right.
My campaign manager for school board was a Trump supporter, right? I'm
Right.
respectful of all sides. And look, if people want to say, oh, he's going to bring us back to the Noosa days, well, the Noosa days when I was around, when I was active, those were actually bright days. So, to those
Right. I
critics,
mean,
I
they
tell them,
were
go sit in your
bright
chair,
days.
go sit
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Bright, very bright days. And I gotta say, this has been great. Parker, your thoughts about this?
I mean, coming into this, I mean, I've known of you and Noosa before, but I wasn't sure how you would play out within the new American roleplay. But honestly, you seem very qualified and have great potential to take this country into the next phase of its newly developed nation. So I really applaud you for coming on tonight and showing the viewers and showing the American people what you stand for, because I think you really just gained some voters.
I really do think you just got some voters. William, Technozo, William, your thoughts about this? I know you have some things to say.
Well, like Tech said, it's not really a good look for people to dive into personal matters. So I really don't have much bad to say personally about Technozo. We were in the Senate together. I think he's a pretty good guy. I like some of the things he says. I will just say though, in regard to you saying, uh, we have to look at Armin. His speakership, because he's only held 2 sessions since he's been speaker. I would like to fact check that and say he's only had enough representatives to meet quorum for not even 3 weeks.
Technozo, what are your response to that?
Well, I mean, look, good speakers are really able to unite representatives. And I'm not in any way saying that Armand is a bad speaker. He could be really good policy wise. But then again, look, you know, there's a saying that, you are what your work is. The proof is in the pudding. Um, and I think what's really driving Armand really has nothing to do with his speakership. It has to do with the Constitutionalist Party, the fact that he is a Foley. And look, I have good respect for Armand. He joined NUSA when I was a president. Considers me a good president as well, which I very much respect. And if the voters choose him, I think he will be a good president. However, look, the fact is that he needs to have competition. He can't just be running unopposed. And I have this feeling that for all this time, he's going inactive. He's letting all his staff really run the show. Look, I'm a one-man person. I am running the show with my campaign. The campaign is me. The campaign is me, Technozo. That's where it ends at. That's where the period ends at. So, look, I'm running my show here. It doesn't really matter. And I think the voters, look,
Yeah.
the voters are going to pick me because they know my track record. They know my record. Like I said, if anybody has any negative things to say about me, I really want to hear it, honestly. But I just haven't heard it tonight, and I haven't heard it when I was new suppressed, and I haven't heard it all the time I was a row politician. So let's just keep them coming, all right?
Yeah, and I really agree with what you have to say out loud. So I think you gained a new voter on this panel. I think you gained a new voter from at home, which is really good, and I think that's the purpose of this. Well, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, Technozo, and I hope you come back on election night because I want to talk to you because we're going to have a good election night, and I hope to see you make some good progress tomorrow. Thank you, Technozo, for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for taking the time to do these news casts. It really means a lot to the voters.
I really hope it does. Thank you so much. Well, tonight, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this special coverage. Now, we will have later coverage this evening when more news breaks. But for now, we'll have final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up the show. Parker, final thoughts? Hey, Parker's kind of, I don't know what he has. William, final thoughts from you?
I'd like to see everyone do their best to be able to get out to vote, no matter who it is for. And we need to move forward together, and we need to build our country up.
I agree with you on that. Well, Parker, are you still here with us? Okay. All right. Well, Parker's closing statement will come, I guess, whenever he comes back, or never. But my closing statement, we got to be vigilant. We got to be watchful. We got to watch the polls. We have to watch the debate tonight because the debate is Friday evening. That's right. It's Friday evening tomorrow before the real election stuff starts on Saturday. I want to let everyone know I will not probably be on Sunday. I am taking a family vacation, a very, very fun family vacation, actually, so I probably will not be on Sunday. I may be on Monday or Tuesday, maybe not even during that time either. It'll just be on Twitter or just Twitter articles or updates, but I will be on until Saturday. All right, so be sure to stick to the debate tomorrow. It's going to be a very great debate hosted by NBC News and by the Commission on Presidential Debates. And stay tuned for our election night coverage on Saturday starting at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's it for us here on MSNBC. Have a great evening. We will come back on the air as more news breaks. Have a great evening. America is in crisis. We have the latest for you on MSNBC.